Welcome back to Podcast by Design with Ibiza Bernadas, where you'll learn anything about virtual assistant or marketing or online marketing. So in this video, I will be talking about how to become a VA. So I stumbled upon a Remitly study which shows that virtual assistant or VA has overtaken doctors as the dream job for Filipino people. And so in this study, they analyzed Google search data around the world. So this is actually not just for Filipinos, but this is a worldwide data that they gathered. So they are focusing not just on the traditional jobs, but also on the digital ones. And they analyze the data where there are, revealing phrases like how to be a or how to become a, and then fill in the job. So having said that, what does this mean for Filipino people? So first, there is a high job market competition. Of course, many people wanted to earn dollars in this economy. I myself have seen how the job market competition is high right now, and it's very different from years way back. So another thing, it means that there will be a lot of course, job applications, volumes in terms of job applications in job posts. Also, there will be competition in terms of prices. The term called a race to the bottom, where in the job market there will be a competition among workers to accept lower wage for for them to secure the job post. And with this competition that I've mentioned, we have to stand out whether you are a seasoned VA or not, especially if you're not a seasoned VA. And of course, you should know how to package yourself. You should know how to sell yourself. And I started this channel in the hope with the hopes that I would really get to help people, because for the past few years, people would ask me about how to become a VA, where do I land clients, those things, even way back during the pandemic. And even just last week, after I posted the last video that I posted, a lot of people asked me actually how to become a VA. And before, I would feel the imposter syndrome, and recordings feels weird. Oh, well, up until now it feels weird, but I feel like this is the best time for me to do this. And based on my experiences, my wins, and even the challenges that I experienced, so that you don't have to go through that. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first, what is a virtual assistant? So when people would ask me what a virtual assistant is, I would just simply say that someone who's working remotely, hired by someone from the other part of the world, wherever that is. So that's essentially what a virtual assistant does. So I googled it, and it says here that, so based on Google, it says that a virtual assistant is an independent contractor or remote professional who provides administrative, creative, or technical support to businesses and clients from a remote location, such as a home office. So business owners hire VAs to handle time-consuming operational tasks so they can focus on high-level growth. So what are the types of virtual assistants? So it can actually vary from different skills. It could be general administration. So, you can manage emails, organizing calendars, scheduling meetings, data entry, and handling travel arrangements for personal assistants. And handling travel arrangements. So that's for general administration. So next would be marketing. So this can be any digital marketing or social media. That includes creating and scheduling content, tracking engagement metrics, responding to clients, those stuff. So you have the admin side of things, the marketing side of things, and you also have the accounting side of things, which is bookkeeping, managing invoices, processing payroll, tracking expenses, and reconciling financial records. Okay. So another thing is, specialized roles. So the first three, these are the basic, departments, or the basic jobs in a company, right? But there are some specialist roles which are actually, for VAs with specific domain experience. So say for example, for real estate, there are cold callers until now, and also there are, Shopify experts for those managing e-commerce businesses. Okay, why businesses hire virtual assistants? So companies use VAs to reduce overhead costs associated with traditional full-time hires. So especially here in the Philippines, if the client is from the US, right, it will be much less in terms of labor costs if they will be paying a Filipino VA. Especially, we are great workers, right? So, what are the approaches in doing virtual assistant? So, a couple of things I listed here. But first, I would like you to um, understand that either you can work directly to a client or through an agency. Nothing is better than the other. It's just that, preferences and, of course, the opportunities. If you work directly to a client, you are a contractor to a small or big business. As a contractor, you have no benefits, unlike the traditional jobs that we have here in the Philippines. So this is for those people who are not really aware what being a contractor is. If you work through an agency, agencies will be the one to get the client, and then you as a VA will apply to them, and then once you passed, they will endorse you to that client, to whatever clients that fits your skill set. Some agencies have their benefits. I'm not really particular. I'm not really sure how it works because I don't have personal experience with working with an agency. But yeah, with both working directly to a client and also working through an agency, you can do full-time or part-time capacity depending on the job offer, of course. Also, it depends on the client, what would it look like if it's flexible time, if it's fixed hours at a specific time zone. So it still depends. Okay, so I wanted to talk about freelancing. So freelancing, this is the approach that I did because I don't want to be tied on a particular client, because of course the reality is that any moment as a current contractor, once they decide that they will be terminating your contract, you can do anything about it. So in my years of experience, I felt, and this works for me, not to say that this is the best route that you should be doing, but for me, this is what works. Being a freelance, I can do multiple clients, provided of course that having multiple clients is okay with the client. Okay, so you have to pick your poison. So of course, if it's multiple clients, you have to be, good at time management. In my peak of my career, well, in 2020, I guess, or 2022, I had six, seven clients, or even eight. But, they come and go. So, what are the mindsets? I would have to say that being a VA is 80% mindset and 20% skills. Why? Because you can always learn skill. But mindset, there are a lot of factors that can really either encourage or discourage you. Your mindset, right? Like the way you think. So, first, what is your why? So, your mindset is your attitude, and approach to your daily actions or daily tasks, right? So you have to work on your why. Why are you doing this? Is it for money, for freedom, for moms if you are a mom? Is it for flexibility so you can spend time with your family? So there's no right or wrong answer here, but it's just that I want you to know your why. I want you to understand why are you gonna do this? Because if anything happens, you still have your why to hold on to, right? Being a VA is not for the faint of heart. So you really have to have a strong why that you can hold on to, so that when the time comes that you are being tested, your patience, things happen, the economy, there's another pandemic, for example, at least you have a strong why to hold on to. Okay. Second, another mindset is being resourceful should be in your veins. And I say this not to be hard on yourself, but because in reality, this is a type of job whereas you don't, sometimes there will be vague instructions, things that you don't really know, you don't really understand, tools that you haven't encountered that your client might be asking you to use or to do. So you have to be resourceful. And, for example, just by getting a client, you have to experience that yourself. You have to be resourceful. What is the best platform for you? And I'll be sharing this further. So again, this is gonna be a series, so watch out for that too. And also, first, getting a client. Number two, using the tools. So if the client would ask you to use a specific tool, you can express that you are willing to try it or to understand it. Or even if you have the time, like if it's via email, for example, and they ask you do you know how to do it? Find time to quickly learn the tool, because then they will know that you are responsible and they can really rely on you. Also, following instructions. So again, there are vague instructions that the client might be able to tell you to do. You have to exhaust the resources online, especially if there are no SOPs. All this to say that Google will be your best friend. So you have to be resourceful. And plus, in the advent of AI, you have more resources out there for you to be able to execute whatever is being asked of you. Okay, so the first mindset, what is your why? Next, be resourceful. Number 3, live your ikigai. So ikigai is a Japanese concept that translates to a reason for being or a reason to wake up in the morning. So it represents the intersection that brings joy, purpose, and fulfillment to your life, combining what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. And imagine, because, I always hold on to this kind of mindset. Coming from corporate, we are told to do things based on, what the work demands. And that's totally fine. Of course, we signed up for that. The virtual assistant world allows me to really resonate, to live and breathe on my ikigai. If this is your first time to become a VA or you have not landed a client yet, it's okay to really do any work that you can. Of course, though, we have bills to pay, right? So definitely do that. But if you have the privilege to choose a career, I would love for you to take on this concept in this age where you can be anything that you wanted to be. Like literally, if you want to be an artist, you can be just a YouTuber, right? Or a creative content creator, whatever that is. All that to say is, if you have the privilege to do this or to find your ikigai, do so, because it will really help you enjoy the things that you love while getting paid for it. For example, if you love video editing, then maybe that's your ikigai, right? I have an ikigai, how to find your ikigai guide. I'll be linking it that in the comments or in the description. That's live your ikigai. And last, fourth mindset is you are not always in control. So you need God's grace. This can be a very challenging career because one moment you are your career is taking off, and then one moment it's tanking. One moment you'll have no client. One moment your client will ask you to have a one-on-one, and then only to find out that he or she is firing you. So what I'm saying is that you're not always in control. That means you need God's grace to guide you through, to give you wisdom, and for it to be successful as well. And with that, you should also trust Him that He is in control of your life. So with all of these things, I wanted to be as actionable as possible. I will be linking a sheet to help you find your why. So there will be an instruction for you to do that. And also just a note that this could be a long, winding road. Just want to encourage you that progress, not perfection. Again, this is gonna be a journey. 80% mindset and 20% skills. That's the reason why I feel like this is important. Note, this is an important lesson that you need to first have in this series. So this has been Ibiza, and thank you so much. I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and follow me on my socials. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.